Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot. Oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girls. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here's your host, paranormal researcher Patricia Baker, on the one, the only Supernatural Girls.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls. I'm your host, Patricia Baker, and unfortunately, PK couldn't be with us today. She is out at the doctor's office taking care of her back, which you all know has been an issue for a while. So we're hoping she'll be coming back feeling much, much better. Meanwhile, please go and join us on TikTok. We have a great channel that we started, and YouTube. If you subscribe there, you will get notification of all our shows that are upcoming. And this show is going to be broadcast on Halloween. We are doing a pre-record with someone from across the pond who is near and dear to our hearts. So let me tell you a bit about her. She's been on the show before. She's a master dream analyst. We're going to be talking about two of her books today. So we're going to start with Ghostly Places and Encounters, and we're going to take it from there. Our Haunted World is the name of it. Now, Teresa Cheung is a modern mystic and Sunday Times best-selling dreams, spiritual, and paranormal author. Since leaving King's College, Cambridge University with a degree in Theology and English, she has written numerous best-selling books and encyclopaedias, which have been translated into dozens of different languages. She has appeared regularly on ITV This Morning as their dreams and spiritual expert, as well as BBC Radio 2 with Claudia Winkleman, BBC Radio 4, Beyond Belief, BBC Radio 5, Live Sounds Podcast, and on it goes. Teresa is a celebrity. She's very well known across the world, and she's with us right now. Teresa, welcome to the show. It's so good to see you.
Oh, welcome, Patricia. It's lovely to see you, and I'm sorry about PK not being here, but sending her lots of healing vibes. And I love your introduction. Can we just play that over and over again?
Yes, of course we can.
I'm jealous. I want that. Wow, isn't it amazing?
You are amazing, my dear. You are amazing. I mean, I was a dream analyst, and I still am, for over 30 years, but you have such a broad range of topics that you bring into this field, and you're so inspiring to everybody who should be paying attention to their dreams. Now, maybe they're not, but I'm telling you out there, everybody, make sure you start, because you're leaving power on the table if you don't get involved with dream work. And Teresa's books are the best. They are absolutely the best about dreaming. So we highly recommend them. I often refer to your dream dictionary when I'm working with clients still. When I get stumped by something, that's the go-to book.
Oh, I'm honored. And we share a passion for mainstreaming dream power as starting point for all personal, psychic, spiritual growth and development. And it's just lovely to talk to you again. Thank you. And I'm very honored to be here and blown away by your kind words. Thank you.
Well, they're all true. So I hope you'll just take them in and continue your magnificent writing career. And you're also live on the radio. And and again, all these radio shows and television shows that you've been a part of. It's amazing, your career. And you're helping so many people.
So that's the intention. That as the more older and older I get, that becomes the main driving force, really.
Exactly.
If someone listens and they pay attention to their dreams, or it's given them an inner shift or help move them forward in some way, that's the biggest joy ever for me now. Forget the New York Times and other things like that people chase. That's not what I'm about now. It really is about encouraging everyone listening, watching, to know that they are dreaming beings having a human experience. I'm on a mission to mainstream that message Always have been, but really, really conscious of it now. As you get older, you get more conscious of where you put your energy and your attention.
Exactly right. It makes a big difference every decade that turns.
I know, and it goes so fast, doesn't it? I'm thinking, hey, just slow down. I need to catch up.
I know. Time is moving way too fast. But here we are, Halloween night, talking to people.
Ooh,
so we're time traveling a little bit today. And I have a question for you. Do you find that on Halloween night, the veil is super thin? We've heard it a million times before, but what do you say?
Yes and no. I'm going to be very vague there. Well, everybody's talking about the possibility of the afterlife, ghosts, spooks. We're all out partying and enjoying the spectacle of it. So in that way, because we're talking about it, it's in the air, isn't it? But in the research I did for the title that you flagged up in the beginning that I published last year, Haunted World, which is 101 famous hauntings around the world, and some not so famous because I brought in some new ones. I'm sorry to disappoint, not one of them happened on Halloween, and not one of them happened on Friday the 13th either.
Oh, my goodness. Why?
You can, every day is Halloween, I guess. I guess for the supernatural girls, every day is Halloween.
Every day is for us.
Ghosts don't restrict themselves to one specific time of year. The reason it's in the air, and especially actually the ghost momentum carries on into the holiday period, doesn't it, with Christmas, because of Charles Dickens' immortal story, The Christmas Carol, which really makes us think of ghosts and Christmas just go together, the ghost of past, present and yet to come. We think about it more because the nights are drawing in, there are more shadows, but really every day of the year, ghosts and spirits and the paranormal is always around us. We tend to sort of focus on it a bit more as the nights draw in.
Yes, and it's getting colder outside for some of us, like here in the Northeast. And so we're pulling inside, lighting fires in our fireplace. And it is a different vibe, very different.
But it can be a heat wave, a spectacular sunny day, and you can be lounging on a beach and ghosts can still appear.
Oh, they do, don't they? Yes, yes, indeed. So this is a fabulous book. And
thank you.
But we're also going to talk about your other book. So we're going to start here, and then we're going to move into your latest. And we're going to have to just bring you back also for your latest book. But it is Halloween, so we need to address the spirits in the room. So tell us about some of your favorites in your book.
Oh, that's like choosing my favorite child. It's so hard. There are 101 of them, and each one of them was chosen for a reason. I divided the book into categories, actually. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what my favorite category is, because that will be helpful. Now, the first category is residual. And this is actually the most commonly reported haunting. And there are a lot of cases in the books, which I group into this residual. Now, there is debate among paranormal investigators, as you probably know, I'm sure you know, Patricia, because you're well versed in this, that they aren't actually hauntings. They are actually kind of almost like a recording of an energetic imprint of something that happened in the past, usually high drama, intense emotion, but also conversely, when there was a repetitive action, something somebody did repeatedly every day, but that the emotions of that soul who's departed have somehow imprinted on the atmosphere, and they kind of play on a loop. And when people encounter residual haunting, a hallmark of it is the spirit, the entity that you think you see, isn't aware of you at all. There's no interaction. It's just they typically appear at the same time, or lots of people in an environment report sightings of these spirits or ghosts. And of course, I live in the UK, where you've got all these castles, and you've got sightings of the beheaded wives of Henry VIII and everything. So I gather those together. And are they really hauntings, or are they really the living sort of like conjuring them up because we know this happened, this terribly terrifying event happened in this place? So there is a huge debate about residual hauntings. People have said that they have actually seen the spirit of a famous ghost in that place, or sensed something, or heard footsteps. So that's the first category. But is it a haunting, or is it just like a movie, a projector?
Yeah. Or is it something that it's like a time cross or something like that?
Exactly.
You're making me think about one thing and one item that would fit into that, which is it happened at the Conjuring House, which I'm sure you've heard of.
Yes.
Yeah. And anyways, I remember it was Andrea was her name, was the original owner. When she walked into the dining room, this group of people, the families that had lived there before, they were all having dinner together. So that would qualify because they were not aware of her, and her mother was standing there also. They just were having dinner, but it was from another time. So I think that would fit, right?
But even that's extraordinary. Is it a haunting, or is it a memory from the past, or an energetic imprint on the atmosphere? I think that's just as extraordinary as the possibility of it actually being a haunting. But a hallmark of these is that they don't interact with the living.
Right.
It's like a movie almost that, experienced. And also it tends to be near water. A lot of these residual hauntings, because, the memory of water, that maybe emotions are trapped in the water, and lots of bricks in ancient castles. There's a lot of water trapped in the bricks. So maybe that's a stone tape theory, isn't it? Fascinating. So that's a big category, which many hauntings, or reports of them, fall into. The next category is fascinating, the poltergeist. Again, big question mark. Is this a haunting, or is this the living having supernormal powers, the ability to move objects? Typically in poltergeist cases, it's a adolescent, someone going through a lot of change, and there's often unhappy family dynamics. And I describe some very, very famous and well-reported poltergeists, that have been recorded and studied by paranormal researchers. But again, is this a haunting, or is this created by the telepathic, psychokinetic, stranger things kind of energy of someone not realizing that they have these powers and that they're creating it? And again, just as with residual, that's just as fascinating, isn't it, as the possibility of a ghost, that people have the power to move objects with their minds.
Well, there was Yuri, and still is, Yuri Geller, who's so famous for that. We had him on the show.
Oh, you have had him on the show? Yes. Wonderful. How did you find him?
It's funny. Somebody that I worked with many years ago, who was very involved with Dr. Andrea Puharich, Yuri was involved with this whole group. And so I'd heard Yuri's name over and over again. And then finally somebody put me in touch with him, and I so wanted to interview him. He's a great interview. I'm trying to get him back on. Very special person. But I wanted to mention one other thing, because when you brought up water, it reminded me, the Conjuring House sits on a lot of water. The house, underneath the house is all this water. But let me ask you this. It makes me think of elementals. Now, have you come across that in your studies?
Absolutely. And we move to the next category, the third of the fourth categories, which is inhuman. This is when objects are haunted, or maybe potentially demonic entities, or on the more positive side, elemental or angelic. That is a category of hauntings as well. But if you are talking about hauntings as the spirit of a departed person, someone who lived on this earth, they're not actually in that category either. These are really outside the realm, aren't they? These are hauntings that are not of this world, really, because the spirit was never incarnated on this earth. So that's a big, big category. And I'm particularly fascinated. You talk about my favorite. I love the haunted objects ones. I don't know why, like the Robert doll and the Mandy doll, Annabelle doll. I find that really fascinating. That an object can gather this psychic energy. And, you could say, well, it's all the power of suggestion. Yes, it is. But some of the stories of people who came into contact with these allegedly, and I always use the word allegedly because there is no solid proof yet, but afterwards, what happened to their lives when they came into contact with these objects, that's something I'm very, very drawn to, the power of objects to trigger something in people. And actually, when you go to the Robert doll or the Annabelle doll and you see them in museums now, people still leave notes and messages asking these objects not to attach themselves to them. Museums. Haunted objects from museums, the British Museum. I live very close to London. There's a massive history of hauntings there. So that's a third category. But again, all three of these categories, maybe they aren't the classic afterlife scenarios that we're talking about, but all of them are endlessly fascinating and also suggest so much about what is possible in this world, and that there's more to us than meets the eye. They're all fascinating in their own category, but it's the fourth category of hauntings that I am most drawn to, and I call these the intelligent category, because the 101 cases in my book are divided neatly into these categories. Of course, there's interchange between them. It's very hard to categorize the paranormal, what is invisible.
It is, because they overlap.
It's intelligent hauntings. And this is where it looks like the afterlife is trying to impart a message, or the spirit, the departed person initiates the contact. They want it more than the person who's visiting a haunted location and is seeking a ghost or whatever. The initiation comes often unheralded, unprompted, unwanted often. And it seems like there's intelligence on the other side trying to reach the living. Now, these cases are extremely rare, but they, for me, are where the future of afterlife research is. They are fascinating. And these are cases of mediumship, channeling, scientific research as well into the paranormal. I put into that category the cutting edge scientific research into it now, near-death experiences, and also the experiences of everyone watching right now or listening, where you've had a dream of a departed loved one and it's brought you tremendous comfort and healing, and you just don't know how that happened. Or you've sensed their presence at a time when you weren't actually craving it or even thinking about that person. That, for me, is my favorite category, and where a lot of my earlier books, when I did afterlife story collections, they weren't actually typically about the famous hauntings of famous figures in the past or whatever. They were about the everyday paranormal encounters that people have that they simply can't explain. I love these stories. I include some of them in the book because I'm not going to say almost, all of them wrote to me and said, I didn't believe before this happened. I didn't ask for this, and I'm not mad.
Yeah.
I'm a very ordinary, nobody's ordinary, we're all extraordinary, but I have a very busy, active life.
Right. In the real world.
I had this dream. I heard the voice of my departed partner, friend, child, whatever, and it changed or healed or saved my life. I saw something, and I know it was a message for me. I had an afterlife sign. Those, for me, are where my heart goes, because they are part of the human experience. They are not the exception, as we've all been led to believe throughout time. And one of the reasons I wrote Haunted World was to show actually paranormal experiences. What you're talking about, Patricia, so brilliantly, and what you're showcasing is the norm. We've all had these experiences. It's no longer the exception. Yes. And I'm blessed, actually, that I've lived long enough to be in a time when actually there's more openness to this than ever before. Part of the reason is shows like yours consistently, week in, week out, spreading this message that we are dreaming spiritual beings having a human experience. That is magic. And you did it when the skeptics were hounding you. You just kept on with the power of repetition, giving out this message. But now we are entering into a time. It is a wonderful time to be alive, when I've never seen the paranormal, the possibility that the afterlife is real, the possibility that we do have psychic powers, we just don't believe in them enough, we fear them, that we live in a time now when actually science is beginning to understand, yes, this is a part of the human experience. We don't understand it fully, but we can't dismiss it anymore. And I love the fact that, and mainstream shows, as I said, I've done BBC Radio.
Yes.
BBC, they've opened up their phone lines and said, call in and share a dream with Teresa. They don't realize what they're doing there. They think, oh, everybody dreams, and everybody wants to know what they're dreaming. What they don't realize is dreams are messages from something invisible and unseen, from source, from your nocturnal intuition. They are all of those. And I say dream work is the way to open the door, because the mainstream will talk about dreams and the potential meanings, because dream work is a recognized therapeutic tool. But I love the fact that they don't realize that they are platforming psychic and spiritual potential within us all whenever they get me on to do a national call-in about dreams. Because, why do we dream? Where do you go when you dream? These are the questions that you posit in all your shows.
Well, yes. I mean, we try to encourage people to do what it takes to develop a language, to learn the language, to remember their dreams, to write their dreams down. Some very simple things. But we've noticed, and I know you have too over the years, how much people resist that. And they don't want to take the time and do it.
It's frustrating, actually, because I've in recent years, especially, to try and give my message about the supernatural, the paranormal part of us that we all have. I work a lot with scientists and neuroscientists and psychologists. And what I found with the research that I've been looking into, there is so much research now in neuroscience showing that our brains are naturally supernatural. They are naturally predictive.
I love that. That's so
the
good.
The human brain wants to seek meaning.
Yes.
Sense the future ahead of time, wants to connect with what's invisible and unseen, because when we are being intuitive or sensing the future or seeking patterns, do you know what happens to the brain? It lights up with brain scans. About 11 areas of the brain light up, in contrast to when we're focused on the present or reflecting on the past, only about 5 or 6 areas of the brain light up. So actually, when you are training your psychic abilities, when you are interpreting a dream, when you are meditating, when you're trying to sense the future ahead of time, you are doing what your brain wants you to do. You are going with your brain's predictive natural flow, the mysterious butterflies of the brain that neuroscientists write about. They are naturally psychic. Crying shame, as you rightly say, that society, schooling, encourages us to block that natural flow because it's not logical and it's not rational.
Time on it. Yeah, it is a real shame. So we're going to keep spreading this message for sure.
Go with your brain's natural flow. It wants you to time travel.
Yes,
it wants you to see spirits and
when you work with clients consistently, what happens is their dreaming relationship transforms and they become precognitive.
Yes.
That happens. And it also shows people their health issues. I've had a number of clients that predicted, and rightfully so, they said, my dream told me that I had this or I had that. My dream told me I need this treatment or that treatment. I'm telling you, I would rather listen to what my dreams are telling me about my health issues than any doctor.
I actually believe that every dream, I started with my dream research when I wrote my big dream dictionaries, which are still in print. I'm so blessed that they keep getting reissued. But I very much went for the psychological self-help perspective, because I wrote these in the early 2000s when, what we're talking about today was roundly hounded by academics, considered woo-woo. So when I did a dream dictionary, it was with HarperCollins, the brief I got was don't go too far out there, you stick to the psychological self-help. And that's very valuable because, as you know, dreams can help you understand yourself better. And self-knowledge is the beginning of wisdom. So that's very valuable to approach dreams that way. But the more I've gone on in this area, the more I realize that every dream is precognitive, in my humble opinion. And I wrote a book actually this year with Llewellyn, called Dreaming of Your Future. And I was blown away because the Society of Psychical Research did a 5-page, literally pages of a very positive review about it. And I've written many books, but it's never been reviewed by the SPR before.
And so for people here in this country that may not know, the SPR is a very big deal. I mean, they are known as the place to go and have things validated. And so that's a real compliment to you.
Well, actually, when I wrote the Premonition Code about 8 or so years ago with Dr. Julia Mossbridge, who's a neuroscientist who researches presentiment. Presentiment is sensing the future in your body, typically in your gut and your heart rate. That's why during the day, when tune into those presentiment organs, they often sense the future ahead of time. When I wrote that, the SPR, of course, reviewed it, but they only reviewed her part of the book. Because it was neuroscience and I came in with the spiritual, more psychic angle. I was kind of like, well, this is the bit of the joke part of it. How things have changed now, because I was offered this opportunity to write Dreaming of Your Future in my own right, present a 6-step plan for tuning into your precognitive potential of your dreams. I did in the beginning lay out the science, but this time the SPR, I couldn't believe it, did this outstandingly positive review. I have written many books and they've never deigned to look at it because they're scientists and psychologists, as you say, formed a century ago. And I mean, almost like when I read that review, it was like my work is done. I've got that.
Well, I can see why.
Very validating. And what I said there is I believe every dream is potentially precognitive, because when you dream, what you get is a snapshot of your current mindset, symbolically reenacted in the symbols of the dreams. That's how the dreaming mind speaks to you. It speaks in the ancient universal language of symbols most of the time. And what you get every night is a report card from Professor Dream showing you your current mindset, not to judge you, but just to show you, not to criticize. And I mean, you get Dr. Sleep, which does all the healing. It does all the hormone release and what's good for your body. But you also get a consultation with Professor Dream every night. And if you're listening and thinking, I don't dream, you do. You dream every night. Brain scans show you do. You're just not recording. But anyway, you get a snapshot of your current mindset. Why is that so powerful? Because we're all learning about manifesting now, the power of our thoughts and our feelings. Thoughts and feelings are energy, and like energy seeks like energy. Our mindset is also energy. So if you get a snapshot every night of what the energy of your thoughts and feelings and your mindset, the energy of it, you get a snapshot every night, you can see what that mindset is potentially attracting. And that's why it's potentially precognitive, because if you don't change your mindset or course correct, yes, you may well experience déjà rêve, where a symbol or a conversation or an emotion in the dream manifests in your waking life. But the future is written, but you can also change it by changing your mindset.
Yes.
So every dream is potentially precognitive in that way, because it shows you what you're not willing to admit to yourself when you're awake. Because during the day, we often lie to ourselves. We don't go deep down to our true core unconscious beliefs. And that's why we need to dream, because our dreams throw the nightlight on what you unconsciously, what you truly believe about yourself. And what you truly believe about yourself at an unconscious level is what you're going to attract.
That's right.
That's why dream work's so powerful, because it shows you the light, quite literally, and says, you don't like how this dream made you feel. Great, you can change it. You choose your thoughts and feelings. I get passionate. Sorry, Patricia.
No, I love it. I love your passion. I relate to it. And I know our audience does too, because this is where the power is. The power is here. And people just keep taking it and putting it to the side. What a mistake. So I'm going to keep blasting that message, but I do have a spooky story to share with you.
Oh, yes, please.
Since it's Halloween, I got to share this one with our audience and you. I had gone to Egypt many years ago, and I brought back a bunch of objects. The little Ushaptis, the little clay figures of the dead. And I was sound asleep, and I felt something put its hands around my neck. And I opened my eyes and I knew exactly what it was. It was attached to this object. It had come piggybacked with it from Egypt, and it was meant to guard tombs. Now, the people don't understand about tombs. You do, I'm sure. When you open a tomb, you release these things. Yeah. And then these things sometimes hang on to these objects, or they just go around the world creating havoc. So
I'm so glad you shared this, because I must be precognitive, because I said I love the haunted objects.
That's
I
right.
didn't know you were going to share this story. Of course, how energies can attach to an object.
And so I woke up screaming. Obviously, I'm not embarrassed to tell you, I was terrified out of a sound sleep to feel like I was being choked to death.
Like the Mummy, isn't it? The movies.
Exactly like it. But this thing, when I screamed, it took off, and I never saw it again.
Well, actually, I mean, they're more frightened of us than we are of them, I think, often.
Yeah, I wasn't particularly fond of this one because it was trying to choke me out, but
it's replaying an ancient thing. But you can protect yourselves against this, you know, as I said, with your choice and putting your protective bubble around you. Yeah. And anyone who's listening who's scared and worried about psychic attack and everything, that's a big that's being discussed a lot at the moment. But I do really think that if you do your inner work, you do your dream work, and you put your protective bubble on, nobody can touch you, because you have the power. Things don't happen to you, you let them in. That's what you've got to understand. And it's the same with dreams. Dreams don't happen to you, you're creating them all the time with your mindset. And if you're constantly thinking this is going to happen to me, or I'm going to attract this, it manifests. So just know that you always have the power to cut off. And when you speak to mediums, I'm sure I often say to them, well, how do you switch off all these voices from the other side? And they said, well, I have a cutoff point. I have a ritual. And I say, the door's closed. You can do that. Everyone listening can do that themselves, can't they?
Yeah.
They can.
You can
invite them in. You don't have to invite them in.
No, you don't. You don't at all. And if they show up uninvited, then guess what? You tell them to leave. It's really that simple. The problem is when people get so terrified. I mean, I was terrified in that moment, but the thing still left. But
what they're terrified of is their own power. People are always handing their power over.
That's right. You cannot do that. Yeah,
and dream work reminds you that you have your own power. Dream work takes all that power back and reminds you that no one can lay a hand on your dreams. They're yours to understand, they're yours to decode, and they're yours to choose.
They are. And I'll give you one more spooky one.
Please.
This is when Becky Andreasen was the co-host, and I was working with her on a project similar to the Skoll project, which I'm sure you know of. So I had gone to bed. I was falling asleep, and I turned over on my side, and I felt something put its arm over my shoulder and then my other shoulder and kind of snuggle up to me. And it was rubbery and black, and not that it was evil, but it startled me because I could feel it. So I screamed.
A kind of like a liminal state, you know, a dream, because you know the liminal states, incubus, succubus, that kind of thing, where the dream's kind of like stepping into the waking world, that you're on the edges of a dream. Do you think it was that?
Possible, but I will tell you, I didn't have any fear of the entity. I was just so startled. I was like, didn't expect it. Where's this coming from? And I screamed, Becky, really loud. And I ended up in her kitchen. She lived in North Carolina, or Virginia. Excuse me. She lived in Virginia. I ended up in her kitchen, and I see her there, and she's talking to somebody, and then all of a sudden I'm back. But I thought, when I showed up in her kitchen, this is kind of funny. I said to myself, God damn it, I'm going to have to fly back home in my pajamas. Not okay.
Do you know, I love what you're doing at the moment. You are bringing in humor, which is the greatest antidote to fear.
Yes.
You can't laugh and be frightened at the same time. You can't. So I'm saying to people who are frightened, thinking, oh, if these things happen, first of all, remember your own power. You don't have to give it away. You choose to give it away. And second, switch fear to excitement or even humor.
Yes.
I'm actually at the age and stage in life when if a ghost walked in, I would be so excited. I'd want to talk to them. I wouldn't fear them anymore.
It's fun. I feel that way too.
Touch.
I'm very excited to talk to anybody who wants to walk in and talk. The aspect of it that gets me is when I'm so startled by it. You know, it's like when you sit down and you're ready to receive communication, it's one thing. But when you're trying to go to sleep,
I wish
their arms over you. It's like, what?
It's kind of like lucid dreaming. When you suddenly you're in a dream and you know you're dreaming, it's such a shame. Most people waste that precious state where you can create unconscious shifts because they're so startled,
right?
And the dream collapses.
Yes.
And it's learning to stay calm. So if you do have a paranormal or supernatural experience, next time just stay calm. Don't let it slip away. It's so exciting.
Well, this is a good doorway into your book. So tell us about your new book.
Oh, well, I'm very excited about this one because, as I said, I am traditionally published. I am blessed to be in that position. I never take it for granted. I still do my reality checks every time I get signed for another book about dreams or Akashic records or twin flames or tarot or astrology. I never take that for granted. I'm a very, very lucky girl in that way. However, my daughter never reads nonfiction books. She's always got her head in a gothic novel or romance fantasy. And I suddenly thought, there are a lot of people now, especially today, when actually most people are consuming their supernatural content online through wonderful channels like yours, through podcasts, through other mediums. How many people sit down and read a nonfiction book from cover to cover these days? Right. So I thought, I have this message about dream power. I want the whole world to wake up with dreams and gratitude for them on their mind and a connection to their own inner power and sense of infinite possibility. What's one way I can do it? Well, I do my own podcast, White Shores. I'm blessed to have a weekly radio show on UK Health Radio where we talk about dream decoding and we bring in leading dream experts and we do dream decoding. I'm blessed to do media. But there's one thing I have yet to tick off my bucket list. I want to write a novel, something that where you're on the edge of your seat, thriller style, but you're also at the same time getting a crash course in dream decoding for people who don't want to read nonfiction but want to lose themselves in a good book. Because after all, when you read a novel, it's dreaming with eyes wide open, isn't it? It's another way to dream. So I'm going to write this. And I had this idea that has been percolating for, I would say, a good 5 to 10 years with me now, but only seriously 5 years ago. And I started to write down the semblance of a plot about a psychology professor who's deep into Jungian psychology, and one day wakes up and people she doesn't know are dreaming about her. They see her face in the dreams. Now, this was inspired by a viral marketing campaign that happened about 8 years ago called thisman.org, where it was a marketing ploy, actually, but at the time somebody put a sketch online and said, "Have you dreamt of this man?" And do you know what happened? Again, the power of suggestion. Thousands of people started to message them and say, "Yes, I have." Yes. Because we've all met strangers in our dreams. Right. It was exposed as a marketing hoax, but it just I thought, my goodness, how would I feel if I was walking down the street and someone, I had a conversation, I met you, I've seen you in a dream. And what would that be like? And so I wanted to explore this theory further. I think there was a Nicolas Cage film which tried to.
Yes, I was just thinking of that. It was very similar. Yes,
but it lost the dream power thing very early on, and it went another way. It just went like
somewhere. Yeah.
I thought the power of that was the fact that people were dreaming about Nicolas Cage, the character.
Yes,
it wasted that. So I did watch that, and that got me so angry. I thought, right, I'm just moaning about this. I'm going to write what I would have liked, how this plot would develop, and I'm going to make it feminine empowered as well, because the main character is a female. And the novel never loses contact with this dream empowered root. In fact, Jungian theories of projection become plot devices. And I'm blown away because my nonfiction publishers, HarperCollins, and I'm now with Hachette, they wouldn't go there with me. They wanted to put me in this box.
No.
No, they said, no, you stay in your lane, basically. I was told by the big publishers are like that. You stay in your lane. You're a proven commodity. You're not a novelist. You're not.
Limiting.
I always tell people in my books, myself, get out of your comfort zone. So I thought, I'm going to do this. I was going to swear there, but I won't. I'm going to do this. But very kind independent publisher, very small indie, took pity on me and agreed to publish it. And I'm very grateful they took that leap of faith in me. But being an indie book, it won't get stocked in the big bookshops like my books, my Dream Dictionary is in Barnes and Noble. It won't, because it's a small indie and indie publishers struggle. But I was so grateful for them to take a leap of faith in me. And but I was also nervous because I am a non-fiction writer, not a fiction writer. And I know fiction is an art. I'm aware I have to learn.
What's the book?
But what I was blown away, the Goodreads reviews have come in. And it's actually one of the most positively reviewed Goodreads.
See, those publishers were dead wrong.
And people are saying, and people are actively engaging. This is terrifying because it does go right to the highest levels of power. I'm trying not to give away plot spoilers. It does go right into dream hacking, subliminal flashes. When you see something online, what it does to your dreaming mind, and having power over the dreaming mind is the last thing that people haven't yet got hold over, but could well do. And I can't believe the reviews that are coming in. People are getting it, Patricia. They are understanding what I'm trying to say and loving the story and the weirdness and the darkness of it. And
well, you know what? I just have a question for you. All right, before you go any further. I hope you kept your film rights.
I did.
Oh, good. Okay.
I did, because the publisher is very small. It hasn't got any publicity budget. But the thing is, I'm a bit annoyed with myself in that I needed the validation of the Goodreads reviews to come out in confidence about it. And that's where we're all works in progress. I needed to believe in myself. I was nervous because it was a new thing. But thank you to all the wonderful people on Goodreads who have taken this book to their hearts.
And now what is the
and what's happening? I've got the book here.
There is Nightborn, and I love the title. Look at that. One blue eye, one brown. Oh my God.
Yes, that's
great cover.
And it's triggering dream recall in people with the tagline, some dreams must be set free. Nightmares, after all, are dreams too. And just reading it and seeing the cover, Haunted Object, people are waking up with crazy dreams on their mind. And for me, the crazier, the better, because the more profound the meaning.
I love
and
this.
Job done. And my daughter's read it.
Oh my gosh.
Still won't follow me on Instagram. I'm still pending approval there.
Oh. Oh, wow. You've done well. No, really, this is fantastic. I can't wait to read it. I'm going to have Gail send it to us, and then we'll have you back to talk more about it.
I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it. It's a roller coaster of a ride. And also,
this sounds like a great movie.
Well, you got Dan Brown sort of owning this space.
Yeah, I don't like that. It's like, let's get you in there.
He's a guy. And I actually the scientist that Dan Brown worked with, that inspired the plot of Secret of Secrets.
Yes.
They are mentioned in his book. And one of them is my co-author of the Premonition Code, Dr. Julie Mossbridge, because he references experiments in Secret of Secrets about sensing the future with your gut and your heart. There's a very big precognition scene in it when Robert Langdon, the main character, has a precognition with his lover. And he works with the scientists that I blog for on the Institute of Noetic Sciences website. But because I'm a girly, maybe, when I came with this crazy plot, so girl power.
Yes.
Girl power. I can Dan Brown it.
Well, yeah. Oh, you can do better than that. Yes. Because you've got I know you've got a more complex and fascinating story. So yes.
Yeah.
I just see this as either a series, a streaming series. Would that be great?
Would you know, Patricia, if your dreams were hacked? This is what the book, the question it put. Would you know if something or someone hungry for global power was hacking your dreams?
That is a great question. Great.
Would you even know? It's terrifying, but hey, as we see in these modern times, anything is possible. And also the power of AI at the moment, synthetic dreams. Can machines dream? Yeah, synthetic dreams. There are scientists working on conscious AI.
Yeah, they're saying it's already conscious, so why wouldn't it be able to dream?
Yeah, this is the world we're walking into. And I'm going to walk into it. I'm choosing to walk into it with excitement rather than fear.
Yes.
Because if we can teach AI to be unconditionally loving towards us, we have a powerful ally there.
We do.
But AI is mirroring us all the time. So every interaction we have with AI, we need to be careful, because we often reveal our deepest part of ourselves to AI because we think nobody's noticing.
Yeah, they're not what is paying attention to, right?
Yeah, what is it mirroring? What is it creating? And if it can learn to dream, oh my goodness, what dreams may come.
Yes.
Extreme dreams.
Well, and, it's so interesting, everything you're talking about, but this book sounds phenomenal. And we'll have you back to talk more about dream hacking techniques. I'm not going to let
Halloween, isn't it? We need to go spooky.
but I'm not going to let you go without at least giving us a dream hack, something that we can work with. Is there one you can give us?
Oh, a powerful. Yeah, I'm going to say, and this is going to be, again, controversial, but as I get older, I like to say things that maybe go against the flow because, as I said, we've been taught to distrust the natural flow of our brains. I'll give a couple of hacks. Do a spot of video gaming, one that's very surreal, because studies show that during the day, what you do during the day goes into your dreams at night. And some video games are very, very powerful for activating the dreaming muscle because you're stepping into a virtual reality there. You're practicing the dream state. So try that to see if it activates more clearer dream recall. If you're not into video gaming, understand that. Read a great novel. As I said, that will trigger dream recall because reading a novel is dreaming with your eyes wide open, because what you do during the day, the dreaming mind is taking note. So if you're dissatisfied with your dream life and you think, my dreams are a little bit dull and mundane, you need to shake things up during the day. Take a different route to work, think a different thought, open your mind to a different mindset, do things during the day that shake things up. But another dream decoding hack is to regard each dream you have as a poem about you, a poem written by you, all about you, to help you heal and grow. Poetry is an art form where nothing is what it seems, and you have to learn to look beneath the surface. It's not to be interpreted literally. Think about your next dream, write it down as if it was a poem, and then go and use poetic literary techniques to decode that poem. Go beneath the surface, look for deeper and deeper and deeper levels of meaning. And if a symbol from a dream eludes your understanding, just let it ponder there. Sometimes dream meanings surface days later. Don't let it go. Just let it marinate there. And in time, a meaning will come. And you'll know when you've interpreted a dream correctly. This is the hallmark of a dream correctly decoded and understood. It gives you an energy boost. It raises you up. Mm-hmm. Never drags you down. If a dream interpretation makes you feel anxious, scared, or drags you down, it's the incorrect interpretation. Think about it. Dreams are messages from your soul, your higher self. They're from source. They're giving you a snapshot of where you are, where the journey of your soul is. And they do that to raise you up, not to drag you down. Because dreams also, Stranger Things is hitting our screens again. I love
that's right. So many years. Yes.
They are giving you an honest snapshot of where you are in your soul's journey. And that's so powerful. Because when you see where you are, when you understand where you are, you can then use your free will and your choice to change things that you don't like.
You can. And it's, again, everybody out here and listening, please, and watching, please listen to Teresa. She's a very wise woman. And she knows how to help you find out what is going on in your life. And it doesn't cost you a dime. It really doesn't. You can do this on your own. You can form your own dream group. You can share your dreams with other people. You can ask, what do you think this means? And just have fun with it. Be open to it and control those useless thoughts that you have during the day, because those interfere. So
Yeah. Ones telling you, oh, that can't happen, that's not possible, or the ones that try to always say, no, not possible, that's too out there. The ones that are the voices, the critic, the monitor, that is for some reason in our conscious waking life tends to be dominant. But the joy and the beauty of dreams is it goes to sleep the conscious mind. It goes to sleep along with logic and reason. So in the dreaming state, you can make incredible leaps of faith that you couldn't in your waking state because logic and reason would block it. Also in the dreaming state, you can time travel. You are infinite. Anything is possible. Wake up in the morning. Please write down 2 or 3 keywords from you can't write a novel in the morning because sometimes dreams are so complex. Just write down the feeling of the dream and a couple of symbols. That's enough.
That is
to give you because what that will do is help you shine a spotlight on some aspect of your waking life. It will give you an outside the box viewpoint. It's your brainstorming on your own behalf every night. Yes. Please don't let another precious dream slip away. They are priceless. They are absolutely fantastic gifts.
And all these people that come to the show and feel comfortable here, because we do feel paranormal is normal. When you have these dreams at night, you are having a supernatural experience. And it opens, just like you said, it opens the door to other things. You want to have these experiences. You want to have all of these adventures. Then this is the great way to start it. And also, you're very protected by a lot of what goes on in your dreams. You can learn how to have dream allies that help you protect yourself, et cetera, et cetera.
Meet departed loved ones in your sleep as well. Have conversations with them. Yes. Incredible possibilities. I mean, you can keep your dream work to the personal level, just understanding yourself better, but you can also use it as a powerful tool for your psychic development and awakening, and your spiritual development and awakening too. Because as you say, people who say they've never had a supernatural experience, well, you've had one every dream.
Right.
You wake up, where were you? Who were you? Why that story?
I was dreaming about Buffy the Vampire Slayer being rebooted, which I hear it is. But that was my dream last night, and I woke up happy. It's like, yay.
More evidence. All these big franchises that we love, the number one, watch show, I believe, is Stranger Things, isn't it? It's because it taps into all these themes. It's so interesting. Don't deny these aspects of our life.
Join us in this journey. Well, I'm going to have to wrap up. Our producer, Bill, has to move on. I know he's listening to you too. But so we're going to bring you back because we love you and we want you to come back and talk more about all these powerful.
You come on UK Health Radio as well. Come and talk about it.
I'd love to share my spooky stories there. So we'll be back, but hang on. I'm just going to wrap up the show. Next week, everybody, we'll be back with another one. So be sure to join us. Until then, I'll see you on the Blue Highway, which, by the way, is code for the dream world.